All right, so we'll start with a few key charts pulled from the Phat-plan and then I review every night. I'm always looking at David Keller's old charts, and I kind of adopted them into my own trading. Added a few myself. So what we have here is advancing declining line, and I got excited last week and noted for everybody that we had gotten the key averages back above the 50-day. So this is, let me get this off here, off of the 50-day. So this blue line right here is the 50-day on each one of these. And you can see right here last week we crossed, and what the green shading means is that all four of them are above the 50-day. And you can see in the past that's obviously been beneficial. And then when it turns red, that's when all four of them and the S&P mid caps were very strong and now have crossed down below, and as well the advance and decline line for the S&P 500. So they're now fully, so already up here we had gone down and small caps had already broken down below it. But now both our mids and S&P 500 have broken down below the 50-day. So that's generally not positive. Doesn't mean we can't go up, but as you can see in the past, that's when all four of them are below in terms of breadth. That's not really a good thing. We have the NASI, and it's not all bearish. I mean, there are some bullish charts. I mean, XLK versus SPY again today, just absolutely blasting off. So I mean, don't think it's all bearish. We're not going there with it. But you know, looking at the NASI again, the red shaded areas is when we've crossed down below the 50 level. And as you can see, that corresponds. Bring the chart up. That corresponds pretty well with some chop at best or some negative values, right? So the red shaded areas, those are times where this NASI has crossed down below the 50. On the RSI, or RSI has crossed below 50, I should say. And it doesn't mean, again, you can see the larger uptrend was the larger trend was up, but it was definitely some rocky rides as it was down below that 50 level, and actually got oversold there, which is a common place to look to get long, but it doesn't always work. As you can see here, took another dip there. That's the April low, the tariff tantrum. But the point is, NASI has hooked down, and we are on the RSI now. When we get to oversold potential, start looking for potential buys. But in the end, right now, red shade. McClellan oscillator, not looking great. What we do want to see is at this point, I hate to do the I wouldn't mind a flush, but what I wouldn't mind is seeing the McClellan oscillator come down here, these extreme levels. That's where the money, I learned that from Ben at Pattern Profits, the money's made at extremes. And as you can see, these green shaded areas, pretty good spots. Doesn't always work. You can see here, we chopped around a little bit and came down. But in general, even though we came down here, it was a good spot. You look to get long as we cross below. Again, this was a pretty rough patch on the pretty heavily oversold. But in general, it works pretty good. More times than not, let's put it at that. And especially these last three times, it's been a great opportunity in this longer trend off the April lows to get long. And so, if we get oversold here around minus 50, then it'll be time to look to get long. Not quite there yet. It's the wrong. Sorry about that. So we don't have to go through them all. All right, and then let's look at our gaps here. So interesting look today. We've been tracking these gaps unfilled, and then we started filling, and then now we had a gap down that didn't hold. It didn't even reach the fill. So what I mean by that, let me move that down to 5 days so you can see that better. So this gap right here was where we started. It actually went down and then fought back, but it didn't actually fill that gap. That's a sign of weakness, and we pulled back, and then we gapped up and we fell back, but notice the pacing on it. It worked its way back down, right? So somewhat of a sign of strength, but overall then today we opened and went straight down. So when you look at that pattern, that gap up and held, gap up and held, and then started backfill, and then this one filled and continued. We had the gap down, couldn't backfill all the way up, fell back. So those are obviously, common sense, right? Seeing this candle here and then this weakness, and then faded quickly today. So the longer it takes to fade, the stronger that trend is, even though it fades. And in this case today, we faded quickly. So a bit of a warning sign there. No doubt. All right, and then the NAM, NAAIM. And if you look at the NAM, when it gets above 100, that's what this red line is for. That's cautionary position. Bring the chart up for you. And as you can see right here, when we get these red shaded areas, all these red shaded areas, there tends to usually be a dip, maybe a dip in the larger uptrend, like right here, a dip, or maybe a deeper pullback down to the 50 right here. As you can see here, we actually came down to the 200, and it started off this NAM survey. Once it gets up above 100 on their amount they're invested, and it starts pulling back. So a little bit of a warning sign here potentially, right? It's again, it's not 100%. These are secondary indicators. I just go over them and have them in the back of my mind when I'm looking at the charts in general. And here's a good example of one that it didn't quite hit 100, but it's right there at 99, and the stock market just kept ripping. So it's not 100%. These are secondary indicators, but they're pretty effective at finding potential dip buys, if you will, in this larger uptrend, or potential greater pullbacks. It's usually a pretty good indicator. So just a little secondary, something to watch as you're looking at the charts. And obviously overnight, not feeling great about it, but the number of times that we've seen that where we start off the night low and everybody's disappointed, and then we wake up the next morning and something has occurred. Remember, we're in a news-driven environment. So we wake up tomorrow morning and everybody that sold overnight is disappointed, and everybody that did whatever is disappointed. So we'll see how that plays out. S&P 500 and new highs, new lows. S&P 500, as you can see right here, we don't want to see this red. Just wanted to point this out to you. We don't want to see this red. You can see what's happening to the S&P 500. Don't want to see this red. You can see what's happening. And as you can see right here, we have this red showing. Let me shrink that down a little bit for you to 6 months. You'll be able to see it. And as you can see right here, red 3 days in a row. Not generally good. One or two in there isn't really generally a problem. It's just a little dip. But 3 in a row definitely has formed sort of a little bit of a pattern there. And as you can see, once you hit about 3 in a row, that's usually, in general, you're going to be facing some chop at best. It is what it is. Just pointed it out to you. Dixie, definitely looks like we broke this recent, this lower high, and we're kind of pushing out of this tight area. That's what it looks like for right now. You can see today kind of held in that upper range of the candle from Friday. And the gold is definitely seems to be sort of back in that trend where it's following gold. Doesn't seem, thought maybe we're going to end up in a basing area right here with gold, but at this time it looks like it's fading a good bit. And the Dixie is definitely starting to rise. A push through that 100 level, obviously where it's right at right now, would be not good, obviously. Bring that down so you can see that a little closer. Look at that 100 right there. I mean, that is obviously a Livermore level for the dollar, Dixie, and at this point right here through it, that would be not good. The best way I could say that. So keep that in the back of your mind. Definitely something to put an alert on, right? Definitely something, put you a line at 100. And if the Dixie moves through it, maybe consider using caution on any new entries, or moving some stops up, whatnot. Just adjusting your portfolio with common sense, not just necessarily bailing on everything. You do you. I'm not giving advice on that, but it's a caution for me. The VIX is back above the 50. We talked about this back in this area when we were above the 50. That's when the volatility occurs, and we're above the 50 still from last week and hanging in there. It was kind of fading back under it. Not anymore. I mean, it's pretty solid above the 50-day moving average. And that usually is when, if you go back and look, the volatility spikes that occur, they always occur when it's, of course, above the 50 in general. Not, here's one right here, but in general, you can look for volatility when we move above that 50-day. And of course, when we get above $20 is where you see some pretty extreme spikes. Really, 17 is that number. If you go back and look at the chart, 17, a lot of people argue, you can see these dips right here. Is where you see those volatility spikes as well. So just basically the higher it goes, the worse it gets, put it that way. This is interesting. So I haven't done a lot of work with the high yield index, but and it's inverted. But bottom line, this is the 50-day moving average. And if you put the shading on it, just looking at it, just remember it's inverted. But anyway, basically when it's below the 50-day moving average, This is the S&P 500. And you can see every time a just red shade, every time we move below the 50-day moving average, again, not perfect. I mean, it takes a hell of a drop, but it does, of course, recover. But it's an area of chop or a greater downtrend again. Area of chop or a greater downtrend every time we move below that 50-day moving average. Chop or a greater downtrend. Vis-a-vis, when you see the yellow shading, that's positive. See, yellow shading is positive. So my point of all that to tell you, we have moved below the 50-day. And so, you know, again, just caution advised type situation right there. Again, you do you, just giving you that information. All right, so not all bearish. All right, that's enough on the bearish side. Let me take a sip of wine here and we'll talk about the bullish side. Some counterpoints. We are holding this key level on the newer Dow theory. RSP, very well holding it, and also QQE as a comparison, very well holding. What you want to see is both breaking out into new highs. That's the most bullish you can get. So we'd want to break this high and we want to break this high. As of right now, I mean, yeah, did we kind of break this shorter term uptrend? Yeah. But are we just maybe basing along here? Yeah. And same thing here. I mean, it's in general, it's putting in higher highs and higher lows. So that's not all bearish. That's actually pretty bullish on that chart. And then SPY, I mean, little consolidation after big gap ups. Yeah, well, you know, it's holding this level right here. So I would say if you look at it, you know, our key levels, probably need to add one in here, but obviously somewhere around 679. You know, we want to hold that level. You can see right here, just to the right of my cursor, you see where that gap up was, that initial gap up powerful move off of this level right here. And so, yeah, we would want to hold 679. That's definitely a key level in SPY. It's something to, again, draw an alert, have it on your charts at 679. I will also note that actually our check of money flow increased today and did not decrease, did not go past the zero line, which is sort of our line in the sand, if you will. XLI, let me start with the growth. Yep, here we go. So, I mean, look at this chart. Consumer XLY versus XLP. Look at that. I mean, that thing is just blasting off high. I mean, it looks great. Nothing wrong with it at all there. And what we want to see is the equal weight break this trend line right here and come join the fun. Now, we may see a little pullback to this red trend line right here. That's something, again, to watch. Keep it on your chart. This is RSPD versus RSPS. And just keep it on your chart, see how it acts when it gets to that trend line, and that's fine. But then when we break this upper descending black trend line, that would be extremely bullish and back to the races, right? So dip buy mentality, if that occurs. XLK, all right, looking at our growth stock. So XLK, you know, moved a little sideways today. Well-earned rest is the way I looked at it. I mean, just well-earned rest. And then down here, XLC, frankly, kind of pushing through the higher low right here. This is definitely a pivot, definitely a key level, and we're pushing below it. This is XLC versus SPY. And then discretionary, basically XLY. So Tesla and Amazon actually kind of breaking out right there. Let's bring this one in a little bit. Let's go down to 6 months. So our trend line will be fixed a little bit here. Yeah, that's a clear break. You can see it right there. Let me fix that trend line just a little bit. Bother me. Right there. And that's a clear break of it. Now, are we basing? Is this just the upper range? I don't know yet until we break this high right here. We want to see it break this high. So right there around 0.356. We want to see it break that tomorrow. If not, then potentially we fade back, and that kind of creates that basing area moving sideways again. Nothing wrong with that. We just don't want to see it going down. Lost my charts. There we go. XLK, XLI, sort of value plays. XLI, you know, not looking great. XLF versus SPY, not looking great. Materials, just god awful. That's terrible. And energy, that's just god awful. That's terrible. Nothing to say right there. And XLU, let's look at XLU, kind of hanging in there. That, not great. I mean, frankly, no. I mean, it broke down, but we do have a little bit of a key level right here, trying to form where it could hold. Draw that in while I'm looking at it. What is it? So, dang it. Heck, why is it so light? Hmm. Well, come on. All right, we'll just leave it like that. Have to come back and fix that. I don't know what's going on there, but you can see it right here. It's light colored, and I apologize for that. But you can see this key level forming right here across it. And we'll see. See if that holds up right there. But obviously, Staples looking as just god awful, and real estate still looking bad. I was pulling for real estate, thought maybe we had a little bit of a Wyckoff flush situation on it, but it did not pan out today. So those are a couple of the key charts. What's going on with oil? Let's check that. No, not there. It's holding that level, Drew. 5 days starting to turn over. All right, let's run through the indexes real quick, and then we'll check our ETFs to see which ones are holding up for us. Be a good day to find strength. So just so you can kind of see what we're flipping through. Fast speed right there. Let me put my daily on. And let's put our 5 day on too. Let's run through. I know it could be a little tight on your screen, but let's put it on there. So NASDAQ, so we got some heavy volume clusters right here. You can see these are usually pretty powerful signs for continuation. Bottom line is these are not positive ones right here, these red ones, but they can go either way. They just set clear pivot lanes off of them. Got some accumulation, and then now we had a little distribution, declining volume, a little pullback to the 10-day. This tomorrow could be one of those days where, as people will point out, we haven't even touched the 10-day, and you're talking about a market crash, so that type of thing. NASDAQ 100 coming off this double inside day. So big move coming, right? We know we got a double inside day. Let's see what happens. Futures, double inside, basically. Tight. SPX closed higher, but you can see that 5 day starting to roll over down here. SPY just kind of moving flat. Little base right there. Nothing to see there. Qs, nothing to see there. Just waiting on SPX. Make a decision which way it wants to go. IWM hanging in there. We'll say put in that hammer right there. Yeah, it's hanging in there. I mean, it's still above the 50. Mids, boy, that's stick save on the 50. Right there, the screen lines of 50, a little bit of a stick save. Let me bring it up easier for everybody to see. A little bit of a stick save there. Surprising to see that. RSP, better than I thought. I'll tell you what else. MMTW is not terrible. MMTW put in a hammer today. I went and checked it earlier. Dow Jones, not looking too good. Yeah, MMTW actually put in a hammer. I mean, that's not a terrible thing. And you can see my histogram rotation is coming in positive, and it's usually pretty effective with MMTW. You see it down here, and we go back up. So we're still turning positive on it. I mean, and that's a nice hammer, 2 green days in a row. And we came down and tapped the $25 level, which is a common place to get long off the 5 day average to look for swings long. So, I mean, we've come in here off this 5 day and tapped it again and put in a pretty good bullish candle today. So it's not all bearish. Rising up on the Dixie, got to say that's not great. It's definitely moving up. VIX faded today. Good. TNX 10-year. I had this trend line. I don't know. It's a really good trend line. In fact, I'm going to delete that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Hanging out that 50, trying to make a decision on which way to go. But call. Oof. moving up. WTI, oil putting it in, just hanging out under this 50-day, just waiting for it to clear that 50, come back, retest and hold. Pro. Actually, USO, the oil index fund, is putting in some pretty aggressive accumulation. Bumping into the 200-day on the UNG, or natural gas futures. Probably the same thing with UNG. Here's UNG. No, still got room to it. UNG coming up strong. Got a cold front coming in too. Not too far off, I believe, in the United States. Always does that first little panic for everybody. Oh my God, it's so cold. I think Florida could get down to the 30s like early this year, from what I was reading. Gold, it's not bullish right now. Just waiting on it to calm down a little bit. It's definitely sloppy looking right now. GDX setting that coil underneath that 1020 cloud, or you could say right off that 50. It's not a bullish coil at all. Silver, nope. PAAS, so silver stock not looking good. Copper, I was really wanting to hold copper. I mean, but it's pulled into that 20. Wouldn't be afraid to play it up through it. It's holding the 20, but it's kind of affected by the U.S. and China relations and just growth stocks in general. It's been kind of running with growth. Copper put in a SCCO, nice candle today. Bitcoin we'll go back to it, but Bitcoin it looks atrocious right now. There's nothing good about Bitcoin right now. Look at all the distribution volume. This is the 200-day moving average. I mean, the 30-week moving average right here, this stair-stepping gold line, and we're now below it. And that's just not good. This is a key level, and we're now below it. I mean, there's nothing good about it. IBIT, nope. XLC, a lot of distribution in there. It's a close below the 50-day. I mean, that's communications, and that's meta. It's closed below the 50-day. It's not good. XLY, and it had a close below the 50 and then gapped up and then gapped up. Obviously, Amazon and Tesla are in this one. It's kind of our hero right now. It's got a little accumulation volume. We'll see how it plays out. XLP, just god awful. XLE, it's got some accumulation, a little bit of a character change on the volume, but price isn't following through. ERX, triple. XLF, god awful. About to lose the 230-week. XLV, nice hammer. Yeah, there's some strength there. No accumulation though. XLI would be a nice reclaim of this pivot level if it got it, but looks pretty weak. Look at that relative strength line going down. XLB, god awful. XLRE, so another bullish candle. Okay. So XLRE is trying to, I'm gonna be like one of those people in FinTwit where they keep calling the top or keep calling the bottom. So Wyckoff Springish again, right here. I mean, those reclaims of this lower level. So it's that reclaim of it. Now, if it was on volume, that would be even better. But these reclaims that keep happening, very interesting. I'm gonna be watching. I'm ready to play DRN. That's 3x off of real estate. There's someone right there right now. So real estate keeps just catching my attention as one that potentially could be that next area. Just keeps setting up, and I mean, it's got some room to move to this gap right here. See that mean reversion I'm tracking right here off this box. So this is that Wyckoff spring that I'm talking about right here, and it gets pushed up. I would love to see more volume, but we've got room, and of course, like I said, play the 3x on this. We've got room right there, so it'd be a 6% move to the mean reversion. XLK, down XLRE. XLK. I mean, we've got the David Ryan ants, momentum requirements met. We put in relative strength, line new high before price today. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it just moves so high, so fast, so strong. Not so much so high, just so strong. You know, it might need a breather, but I don't know if it doesn't keep going up tomorrow. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, PLTR had a bad day, so what? XLU, boy, that's a nice stick off the 50. I'll write that one down. XLU. Google really held up well. I mean, that's probably number one of the big boys to look to get into. Amazon, you know, wouldn't be surprised if fade. These larger cap, they generally do fade off their earnings. This time could be different, I suppose. Apple holding the 10, you know, first touch of the 10 after that powerful move, came in there and tapped it, went straight back up. Good buy opportunity there today, intraday. Meta, I mean, it's below 30-week moving average, it's below the 200-day moving average. That's bad. It's going to take a lot of time for it to repair, in my opinion. Microsoft, testing the 50-day right here. Volume and price did not rise up. In fact, we had more distribution volume. Boy, that's bad. Tesla, superstar, looks like we put in an all-time high right there, and is super strong. Netflix, I'll never short Tesla again. I don't think I'll ever short it again. I shorted it and lost a shit ton of money early this year. Just dumbass. Never bet against Elon, as they say. Netflix, below the 30-week, below the 200. I mean, we're starting to get that whole Reaper meme where he's going door to door. We're definitely seeing that right now. Nvidia would be the last one, I would assume. Let's check Nvidia. The dog keeps running around. Must be a storm coming or something. Nvidia holding up really strong. I mean, relative strength line, new high today. Yeah, probably the last one. Look how far away it is from the 30-week. You can't even see it on the screen. Right there. 200-day right there. So yeah, got $200 level would be a good spot if we do see a market pullback. See how it holds itself right off that 200. Matter of fact, I'll write that one down. Nvidia, that could be a steal right off that 200 level. If it comes back to it. I mean, clearly he's got the ear of the president and all that good stuff. Yeah, the UNG. I heard you Donald up. Yeah, it's man, cold front coming in, and everybody wants to, you know, that first time. They're kind of like when a hurricane comes and you buy the battery stock, GNRC, and man, it's strong. Look at that volume. A little frustrated, didn't pick it up off this power 3 break through the 50-day. That was kind of an obvious buy that I didn't buy it. WTI, let's see how it's going tonight. As we go on, we'll go ahead and move on to our oh yeah, hold in there. Let's go ahead and move on to our ETFs. Let's take a quick look at them. I can't believe I just did that on the, hold on a second here. All right, let's check our ETFs. ARC, let's zoom it in. MSOS still going down. Let's see if anybody was holding up strong for us today, put in a velocity day. So ARC-Q, autonomous technology and robotics. Very strong day right there. So I'm writing that one down. ARC-Q. Very strong day today compared to the rest of the market. ARC-G. We're looking for that right there. We're looking for that velocity turned up, an increase in velocity. And the only one we saw was ARC. Was it ARC-Q? Yeah. Nice day today by ARC-Q. Right there, pointed at the money angle and increase in velocity. See that node right there? So this was just after one day. Nice increase in velocity on ARC-Q. All right, let's see if we got any here. I don't off the top of my head other than SMH, which looks great. Drive 50, iDrive, no. So everything is now down to semiconductors saving the market. Cyber still holding in there. Looks like hack though. Kind of flying off the handle. So cyber is the only other one other than of course, SMH. So we got SMH, we got ARTQ, robotics, and cyber. Those areas are looking strong. Energy, GDX, no. Gold, still holding in there, I guess. OIH, no. SLX, so steel, that's a decent first day. Steel play and everything else, no. So we've seen this time and time again. If you've been following me for any length of time, we watch this. So what are we seeing? We're seeing in terms of the JDK relative strength, momentum, and ratio, relative rotation graph, we are certainly seeing negative behaviors. Look at that. So real estate, big J turn back south, not good. Look at the direction, not good. It's going right here. That's the arrow. I know it's a little hard to see that yellow, but that's a glitch, by the way. I don't know why it's yellow right there. It's should be red. You see where it moved back across right here. Move back across. So it's actually going down. So the exact opposite of what Phat thought was going to happen from last night. And then XAR, okay, XAR, aerospace and defense. Nice strong day again today. Do Katos have earnings today or is it tomorrow? Be interesting to see. I know Rocket Lab wasn't looking great. That's interesting. Let's see how we'll see how Rocket Lab held up today. Excuse me. Let me grab a sip of wine there. Let's check Kate. Let's go with XAR first. Let's just check space in general. Oh yeah, upside reversal off the 20. Okay, Katos is have earnings tomorrow. Tomorrow. Oh yeah, holding steady. And then we said Rocket Lab. Yeah, man, it closed below the 20, and it's got a couple of closes down there, but it's holding in there. Definitely going through that volume dry up. Look at that extreme volume dry up down there. Relative strength line's dropping, but we certainly have that volume dry up period that you look for after just a hellacious move, really from the bottom. I mean, just a great big move. Would certainly be a buy off the 50-day for me. Come down in there at 50-day if we see a market pullback. But so space definitely showing some signs of hanging in there, right? Gotta be impressed by that. So XAR. So right now we've got areas that are looking good: XAR, SMH, cyber, ARTQ. Okay. Rest of them all going down. Pick the pace up a little bit here. Yeah, all going away. I mean, that's just god awful terrible. Look at Cree. Just as far away as you can go from being good. What was financials? All right, consumers. I'm starting to like the arrow more and more. So XLU, yeah, we saw that already. XLU at a potential support level, and XLU is sitting on the 50-day. So definitely you get that again. I say this often, but you get that potential defensive play if we see a rotation, but you also get that infrastructure play. So looking good there. Everybody else is pointed away. And that's how this relative rotation graph works. You can just get that quick snapshot. You can just see each one of those is in the wrong spot. All right, that's all of them. Let's go ahead and look at our setups. Let's see what's setting up for tomorrow. PFSI back on the list. Well, that is interesting. So let's see. I don't see anything in blue there. So the ones that are in blue are the larger number of setups. So it looks like healthcare. So healthcare and healthcare has been doing pretty well. But PFSI is showing itself out with the financials, right? Like there's in terms of financial services, let's see if there's even another one on here. Doubt it. No. Okay, so PFSI, there's something going on with it. It's one, maybe I'll check it on Perplexity. There's something going on there showing definite relative strength. Look at that relative strength right there. That is it. And then put in that outside bullish bar today. Damn. I mean, that's an open equals low. They bought that gap down. No, it's not. They bought it pretty quick though. Okay, right there. came down, they bought it, and pushed it back up. But it closed strong, yeah. Let's look at it inside. No, closed weak. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's yeah. Nice strong close. Look at that volume come in, price compared to the rest of the market. That's showing definite relative strength. That's Rocket Lab. Shit. Uh PFSI. PFSI. So Rocket Lab with a close strong too. Yeah, god damn, look at that. Good volume came in right up against that decline in 5-day. I'd really like to see it flatten out. But this is one to just keep on your radar right there with financial suffering. Look at that thing. Relative strength good. Man, I like that one. PFSI. That's something to watch. All right. Let me put that on the list right now. PLYM. To read. Don't like that relative strength. Yeah, no. HCA, healthcare. Not for me. I do, man, that relative strength. Good God, look at that. It's a little bit extended for me. IMAX, nope. AMRC, double upside reversals and tight RMV kind of always go on my list. You know, after obviously a flag right there setting up. Probably a little bit early, but I'll put it on the list. QTech, beautiful relative strength, beautiful low volume, but not enough of a pullback for me. Mercy, okay, so that's definitely going on the list because we're seeing the space plays setting up. So Mercy definitely going on there. Nice spacing going on there with low volume. TARS, no. TPC, look at that relative strength, man. Really seeing the ones that are showing out today on a weekday today. TPC, RDNT, basically anything relative strength is almost like an automatic on the radar type thing. Diversified metals, tech, a bit of a copper play, right? Like that RMV. I like that it's tight, like it's holding this base after this huge move up. Yeah. Resi. No. Cyber. Yeah. I mean, the way cyber's been holding up, cybersecurity and whatnot. So we'll put that one on there. PA&W, yes. PA&W. It's a little bit extended, but relative strength line's good. And I'm gonna hold off on that. It's a little bit extended for this market. For me, HBM, I'd like to see a pullback in crowd. We'll check that one here when we get done. RNG, that's beautiful relative strength. Like I said, look at it moving into Sam Weinstein phase 2. Not enough volume there for me. STLD, Steel Dynamics, yes, please. So we saw that steel was still holding up on the relative rotation graph. Beautiful, absolutely just incredible relative strength phase right here. You know, this is what you're looking for, this relative strength phase and this low volume pullback. So this is it right here. See the relative strength phase and the low volume pullback into the 1020 cloud. This is the entry right there. That's it. And this is a low volume situation, pretty extreme dry up after huge volume. It's a little 10 tapper, 1020 structure play right there through that high of the day on intraday volume. Relative strength, yes. Apple, interesting seeing one of the big eights making it on here tonight with the volatility we saw today. And yeah, nice pullback into the 10. I'm gonna put Apple on there. You know, they're hiding in the large caps. I say hiding. I mean, they're moving money into the large caps right now, institutions. That's clear when we looked at the market carpet yesterday, right? Let's check it today and see how it looks on the market carpet just for a 1-day check. Now let's see if those large caps are still, oh, that's not the market carpet. So 1 day, and let's look and see where the money's at. Amazon, Tesla, LOI, all in the large caps. We see anywhere else? Yeah, energy's got some coming in there. We're looking for that dark green right here. Dark green, dark green. Nvidia's not dark green. Uber, but I would say definitely the large caps are holding up. Another way to do it. Let's go market analysis, market summary. Right here. So we look across at large because so actually small caps doing better. I'm wrong. It's another way to look at it. So value actually not so good, but small caps did all right. That's interesting. Just to kind of show you. So those are ETFs. So this is MDYV ETF, S&P 400 mid cap value ETF. That's what you're sort of looking at right there when you're looking at all these. So for example, large cap value, that's the value ETF for the S&P 500. Just so you kind of know what you're looking at when you look at that chart. I was incorrect about that, but over the past 5 days, they have been. And it's Apple, so it goes on the list. All right, let's see here. VSAT. VSAT coming off a hell of a move. Low volume. I don't like when that RMV, I'm getting to where I'm like an RMV tight, and I'm not interested. So ACMR showing good relative strength. A little bit of distribution in there, but RMV of 0. So definitely semiconductor play goes on the list. TEM. No. PTCT. No. VNet. Yeah. Good relative strength. Nice pullback, symmetrical, low volume pullback. Don't really like this right there, but that's all right. MIRM, biotech play, no. IONS, maybe, not for me. Katos. I wouldn't be afraid to play a little intraday volatility with Katos, especially with space looking good. Wisdom Tree Trust, Japan hedged equity futures. No. Open, off the real estate. Oh, shit. Open made the list. It's the first time I think that's ever happened. You know, just because it made the list, I'm put it on there. Bit of a low volume pullback. I mean, it's not real low volume, but low volume relatively speaking for open. Damn. Okay. EEM. Emerging markets. ETF. It's interesting. AA. So that's coal, aluminum. Interesting. Like the way it reclaimed that 20. You know, it's not like it just crashed down into the 50. That's a good low volume pullback. RMB of 0 and a mini coil. Yes, please. SSRM. Gold miner. Super tight. Look how tight that thing's got. An RMV 0. Low volume pullback. Yeah, that's going to, I mean, it held the 50. So we're going to put that on there. And of course, I use gold. Just kind of track gold at the same time, use a momentum play. EWT, Taiwan ETF. No, thank you. Barrett Gold hanging in there. Look at that low volume and look at them not wanting to sell it right there. That's classic. Look at that low volume, very symmetrical. They're just saying no, no, no. And it's not an ascending wedge type situation. It's just holding. Don't see much pushed up on the wicks, but there's not much of a top wick either. I mean, that thing is tight as shit. I like it. And it's been on the list multiple days. It's telling us it wants me to buy it. Any kind of sign of gold improving. RGAN. No. RMBS, another semiconductor, setting up with an inside bar. RMV is a little loose, but yeah, it's RMBS. So Rambus, you put it on there. It's semiconductor play. So we got a couple of semiconductor setups. And then Flex, look at that relative strength. That's beautiful. You know, that's what you're looking for right now. Post earnings, little pullback right here. You know, they're not selling it off. So, I mean, on today, anything that closed green and had relative strength, those are the plays you're looking for. So that's a pretty good little healthy set of tickers right there. All right, and then let's check our Stock Talk Insider plays. No, that glitch is still there. I thought it had gone away. Offer a loose basket. And again, if you're new tonight, not a whole lot of setups. If you're new tonight, you need to check. You can type this ticker into the pros various, into the Discord. and see their due diligence on it and see if they're interested in it. The setups aren't showing. If they're interested in it, they may have already stopped even caring about some of these tickers. I just have them on there because I scrape them from them and then I just watch them for low volume setups. That's how I enter their plays. That's just how I do it. I'm comfortable. It gives me a low risk entry. And so like ON semiconductor play, I don't know what pro even put it in the Discord. I don't know what pro if they're still following it. So you got to do that due diligence on your own. But it's in a very nice setup. I don't generally play these expanded wicks, but it's right underneath that 200 day. So for my own personal style, I don't play anything under the 200 day, but I will off of these plays because they generally can have catalyst and whatnot behind them. So it's basing on when earnings is. Let's check on the other chart. I'm gonna put on there for now. We'll check it on the other chart. Does a better job. TradingView does a better job with the earnings, putting the right dates on there. Airbnb, I hate Airbnb, but honestly, that's a good low volume pullback with zero. Same thing. I don't know when the earnings is. Let's check it. Plab, yeah, Plab looking good. Nice low volume pullback. Could be tighter on the RMV, but looking good right there. Getting tight. Apple, already got it. VSAT, I think we had it on there because of the measured. Can't remember, but it's a little loose on the RMV there. ACMR, oh good, we already have that one. Laser. It's not perfect position for me, but I think just kind of reminds me of HI. Just continually works higher. A little bit loose, but it's working higher. KTOS, PCYO, ARM, PCYO. So utilities, right? And it's water utilities. And we saw XLU bouncing off the 50. So why not? Right? Put it on the list. ARM. I wish it looked better, but it's semiconductor and it's in a low volume setup, pretty extreme low volume. So I'm putting it on there. And then Microsoft doesn't look good at all. And then GXO. Good day Friday. Good Lord. Look at that volume. Put an inside day today. It's just not a good setup for me. So we got these guys. We'll add them in. All right. Now let's go ahead and set up, see what we got. We'll try to hang in there. How's the futures looking? Hmm. See how PLTR is hanging. Closed out at a low. WTI keeps trying right there. Got some good volume coming in right there. But that first tip right there, that red turning down, that's concerning. We'll see. All right, I'll get my list in there and we'll get started. Call these out. These guys. And we'll add in these guys from the Stock Talk Insiders that are in low volume setups. PFSI. All right, let's get through them here. So, hold on a second. I'm gonna add in oil right here. Let me buy me a little oil. I do like how Webull, I've gotten adjusted to it. You can sell overnight, you know. So that's my bad. Are you kidding me? What the hell? 72.62. I'll take that. All right. Let's see here. So beautiful day, 3-bar break by PFSI. Nice break. Good day. Oh shit, that's not one day. Sorry about that. There we go. Outside bullish bar is what we're talking about. So nice move. I mean, it's not the biggest mover, but man, it's a nice move. Got my eyes on that one. AMRC in a flag, upside reversal, accumulation, earnings out of the way. Yeah, yes, please. Mercy, aerospace play. I mean, that's a nice upside reversal. And I know we got earnings tomorrow, but again, I could see some intraday volatility. TPC. Yeah, 5 days starting to flatten out. It's got earnings. God dang it, man. I'm willing to jump in a space play and play it into earnings intraday. Maybe leave a little for fun, but basically I'm just kidding myself with Mercy with the earnings. Let me take that one off. Come on. And AMRC. It's got earnings out of the way. So now we go back to tech. All right, and with tech, yeah, that's a nice upside reversal. Eyes on that one. 5-day flat. Cyber looks really healthy. Got earnings. Huh. Let's see on that one. I don't know if it had earnings or what's going on with that. STLD. So this one earnings is out of the way. Low volume pull back into it. Yeah. And steel is looking good on the relative rotation graph. I'm getting through a little cleaner there. Had a couple of earnings hiccups there. Apple earnings out of the way. Had a good response initially, pulling back into the 10, bounced off the 10. Yeah, like it. Let it maybe off a little pullback in this gap right here in the morning. ACMR, nice coil heading into earnings. God dang it. I'll take it off. Not going to start with gambling with earnings. VNet. All right, so we got one with the earnings not in the way, starting to catch the relative rotation histogram, low volume pullback. So this is our first just classic low volume pullback off a little double top right here that we got. Looks good. Katos, it's got earnings coming up, so I'm going to hold off on that. But interesting that we have 2 space plays looking good going into earnings. Open, you know, you can always play XAR. Open, got earnings coming. This is one of those ones that could definitely rise up over these 3 days into earnings. You have to make sure earnings isn't in the morning, but could easily break this inside bar and go straight up for a little while. Tap that 10. I mean, it's a mean play, remember. AA. A little bit of a coil there. 5 days too steep for me. Take that one off. SSRM, boy, the setups, you know, and we see this often. Foreboding, right? When our setups don't look good. SSRM got earnings. Man. Gold play B looks good. Still enough time before earnings right there. RMBS, inside bar, earnings out of the way. Not a great response, but not a bad response. We got the $100 level, so a little pullback tomorrow would give us a test off the 100. Again, the setups just aren't clean. Flex, I guess too much distribution volume in there post earnings. Gosh, not a lot of great looking setups at all tonight. So got to check on this again. Look at how earnings getting all in the way and everything. So earnings apparently out of the way, but it gapped down, then moved up. So must have had earnings in the morning, gap down, recovered. So that's a good sign of strength. Yeah, back through the 5-day. Again, nothing clean yet. Give me something clean. Airbnb, below the 30-week, trying to push through it. Earnings popper, I'm gonna take it off. Flab, looks good. Thank you. God, Jesus, looks good. We got a nice upside reversal right here. Yeah, almost a wick play, right? Nice upside reversal through the high of the day. You know, all these upper wicks pushing it back down, but this is a nice 3-bar break right here on accumulation volume. So we have a little bit of a change in character, a little bit of change in volume character, which could dissuade and push through those wicks. Yeah, it's the first one that actually looks good in the setup. V-set. Close to earnings, but still a little bit of time in there. I'm gonna have to hold off on that. No accumulation on the way up. PCYO, so utility, so we're keeping it on there, a little small capper. ARM, got earnings. Jeez. So cleaning this up a little bit, PFSI, yes. AMRC, looks like it had earnings. Reported, yeah, 0.534. It must not have after hours. Yep, and it moved down. All right, so take that one off. Tech. Yes, earnings out of the way, looks good. Back through the earnings VWAP through the high of the day. Cyber looks good. STLD looks good. Apple looks good. VNet. Yeah, nice $10 level right here to manage risk off of. Still got time before earnings off that double top move. Open. Inside bar heading into earnings very volatile. Consider your sizing. B looks good. RMBS looks good. Own looks good. Plab looks good. So Plab, probably the best looking one for tomorrow, right? See how it's getting tighter and tighter right here? Squeezing in and putting that 3-bar break above those closes. Nice healthy day today. And then PCYO, just a little small capper to hold for utility. So that's it, guys. That's all I got for tonight. Not the best looking setups overall, but I will note, semiconductor wise, we got RMBS, ON, and Plab. So as far as once we've broken it down by size, by the ones that actually look like they're playable, by the structure I look for, it's actually semiconductors. There's 3 of them right there setting up. So that's not a bad thing. A couple other interesting plays in there as well, though. That's it for tonight, guys. Appreciate it. I'll get the video up as soon as possible.